Okay. Hello, everybody. I cannot believe we are halfway through with August. This year has passed me by, I feel like. I'm going to do a quick look at our numbers. Year to date, our brokerage remains number 28 in all of Clark County. So excited about that. And thank you to everybody that has helped keep us there and put us there. So we are number 28 for Clark County. And for the month of July, we slipped a tiny bit. And for July, we're actually number 31 in Clark County. So that's just a quick look at our numbers. We've had a really good August. So I have a feeling our August numbers are going to look really nice. And then it seems like things are kind of winding down as we head into the fall. We've got a little bit, less on the upcoming closing list than we have had for the last couple of months. So hopefully that's going to change and things are going to pick up. So that's our brokerage stats. We had a meeting yesterday. We had a class yesterday, actually, a CEU class about the new buyer brokerage agreement. And if you were not there and you are interested in seeing the conversation, we recorded it. You can't get CEUs for watching the recording, but if you want to listen to the conversation, there is a poorly made video available in the Facebook group. So check that out when you are so inclined. Okay. I want to find.
Tell me you're fine.
Okay, this is a graphic. I hope that is everybody seeing the Curran group graphic. Okay, this was something that Alyssa Curran made yesterday, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. We were already working on it. So we're going to do this kind of a graphic where we'll update it once a week if we get any new listings. So the BAC has gone away in RMLS. Even your existing listings, if it said what the BAC was, it's not there anymore. And so you're going to have to, as a listing agent, be good about answering your phone when people call and say, I'm going to schedule a showing. Is the seller offering any BAC? We're also going to have this available that every agent can share if they'd like to. And we also will have this available at the Uptown office where we field phone calls. It'll be on the computer there. It's in our roster. So if anybody calls the office asking about one of your listings, we'll be able to give them that information there as well. So that's just something that we're working on. I think it'll be ready today, probably. Carly's like super fast about this kind of stuff, but we've updated our internal. What was that?
I have a question about that. So today is Thursday. Should I include listings that say they're going live on Friday? Or should I only focus on what is live now?
That's a good question because we do have sometimes things just don't go live, but I guess this could be for live or coming soon, honestly. I mean, if we've got a signed around listing agreement, I think it's okay to go ahead and publish this.
Well, it's not RMLS, so you don't have to follow their rules. It's your
right. It's not for RMLS. Yeah, it's just for our brokerage to share with people that are wanting to show our listings.
But aren't there rules about posting right before something's live?
Well, there's rules about advertising it. So you couldn't do a post to say, I've got this new listing coming up, here's the photos, unless you had it listed as coming soon. So let me think on that one.
Okay.
Because that's a good question. And I think that the answer might be, let's just do what's live, and then maybe we have to update it every couple of days. I don't know. I feel like we should have something going into the weekend, though. All right, so there's that one little workaround. Just as a reminder, there is no rule, there's no ruling, there's no lawsuit, there's nothing wrong with, and there is no doing away with offering a buyer's agent commission. The only thing that has changed is you cannot advertise it on the RMLS. That's it. Now, RMLS also owns Aligned. So you can't put it in Aligned, like when somebody schedules a showing that it'll pop up there because RMLS owns that. There's been some talk about, can we put it in the lockbox? I'm not sure. As of right now, I think you can, but they may say eventually not to because RMLS or NAR are linked with SentryLock and those lock boxes operate through RMLS. So maybe we can't put it in there. Can you have it inside the listing on a flyer? Absolutely. Can you have it on your sign? Absolutely. Can you have it on any advertising you do? Yes. You just can't put it in RMLS. So as of right now, that's the rule. That's what we're operating on. So you are still absolutely able to advertise it other than there. And speaking of which, here is Con's listing. And you can see she has added it. I'm going to highlight it. I don't know if that helps it to show up more as compensation 2.25% BAC on her website. You can absolutely do that. That is totally fine. If you don't know what you're looking at right now, this is our brokerage website. This is Con's agent page of our brokerage website, and every one of you has an agent page on this brokerage website, whether you've ever used it or not. You do have it, and you do have the ability to go in and put that BAC on it. So that's just another way of how are we going to get that BAC out there? Here's one of the answers. If you need help learning how to do that, you can talk to Tabitha, you can talk to Betsy. And we're trying to set it up so that potentially we could just do it for all of our listings on the brokerage side so that you as an agent wouldn't have to go in and do it. But if you are sharing like Zillow links to your own clients or whatever, just be aware you have this. This is your website. This is Con's page. They all look the same. You have one of these that you can also be using. And along those lines, you also have Real Scout. We're getting on a call with Real Scout today to find out if we can manually add the compensation. So we know that we can add it to our website. I'm not sure if we can add it to the Real Scout app. If you are not using the Real Scout app, be aware you have access to it. You pay for it in your tech fee. It looks like this. This is me sending Con's listing to my client from the Real Scout app instead of sending my own client a Zillow link. It brands it to me. It pulls in the MLS data because it's an IDX feed. It has me as their buyer's agent for them to contact me. I used Con's listing as an example because we were just looking at it. I could also do this with a Keller Williams listing. I can do this with any listing in the MLS. I can pull it up and send it to my client through Real Scout, branded to me. So what they get is from me and not a Zillow page. This is what it looks like if I emailed the link. So if I get on my phone, I open my Real Scout app and I say, I am going to send this to my client, Bob, and I click email it to Bob, he gets a link that takes him to this page. There's no tricky click here to talk to a representative. Like they're not going to accidentally schedule a Redfin showing on this page. They're not going to call the Zillow Premier agent on this page. It is my page and it's going to come back to me. And then if I send Bob that same thing, and I'm going to send it instead of an email, I'm going to text it to him. Hold on and I'll show you what that looks like. This is a screen grab from my phone. So this was me sending that link from my phone. Here's what Bob gets. He can scroll through all of the pictures of the listing. And again, it pulls in the MLS data. See my face up there? That would be your face. See my face and phone number? That would be your face and phone number. Gives them what the open houses are, pulls in all of that data that's available in the MLS and some other just kind of cool information. So this is your Real Scout app that you have that nobody ever logs in and uses, but we have it and it's there for you to use. I mean, it pulls up school ratings, it pulls up climate hazards, all of this stuff. So if you are looking for ways to share listings with your clients, this is it. That I kind of got off the topic of, but that's what it looks like. When I text it, that's what he gets. When he clicks on it, this is what it opens to. This is the mobile view. So that's kind of separate from the BAC issue, just as I was realizing that a lot of our agents, somebody just sent me a Zillow link saying, can you look at my listing and tell me what you think of the photos? And she sent me a Zillow link. Like, you guys, unless you're a Zillow Premier agent, Zillow is not here to help you. I don't know if you're aware of that. So you have these two tools. This is your Real Scout app. That's what your Real Scout app looks like online if you send it, and you've got your agent website. So just if you are a Zillow devotee and you love them, you do you. I'm just showing you that you do have some options and you have some tools that you are paying for that you are not using.
Shannon, can I add Real Scout too as well?
What was that?
Can I piggyback with the Real Scout?
Yes. Jump in.
I've been using it since I've, started, working with you guys, and I love it. My clients love it. It's really easy to look at for them, and then they can tell you which ones that they like, and you can send it to them personally. So I really recommend everyone using it. It's much better like to look at than like the RMLS or
Yes.
Zillow or any of that. Yeah.
I agree. It's much more user-friendly on the client end. And again, it takes out all of the garbage of anybody else's advertising. This is just yours to share. So, highly recommend. Maybe we need to put together like a little Real Scout class and just kind of get people up and running if they are interested. But again, whether you use it or you don't, you do have it. It's up to you. Use what you want to use. I have clients that use it. They favorite things. They click it and send it to me and say, can I go look at this one? I prefer receiving it that way than them sending me the Zillow link, but that's, I'm on a Zillow boycott right now. Maggie asked if we like Real Scout better than the website. I like Real Scout better on my phone. And I have gotten to the point where I do most everything on my phone. So for that aspect, yes, I do like it better for doing quick things on my phone. And I know that it does a lot more things that I don't know how to do. The two agents that really were heavy into Real Scout and got me into it don't work with us anymore. One has left the industry and one is a designated broker somewhere else. And they are super users who know all that it does. I think I need to dig in a little bit more so that I can share, but I know that it does a lot more than what I'm using it for. So I just have a couple of like little housekeeping things on my notes. Sky slope. This is, I just pulled up, Amanda, it's one of your listings, just not your listing, one of your deals, because I just pulled it up to use as an example. When I'm doing compliance in Sky Slope, this is what your checklist looks like. And sometimes people will upload this whole fat document like into purchase and sale agreement, and they'll upload their whole thing. And I understand that that is easy. Here's the problem. And this one is not a great example because it's the builder forms. But when you upload your Form 21 and your finance addendum and everything all together in one spot, you have to separate it out and put it in the right spots. And I'm always telling people that. And as a former educator, I feel like maybe me just telling you to do it isn't the best tactic since people are still getting it wrong. Maybe you understanding why is the secret to success here. So here's the reason that we have to separate these. When we get audited, the auditor will ask me for very bizarre and specific things. So they might say, we want to audit the file of Amanda Bennett at 10626 Northeast 121st Avenue and want me to send them everything. That's one type of audit. But another type of audit is they might call me and say, send us your finance addendums of 5 recent transactions. It's not my job to go into your file and find the finance addendum if you didn't put it right here where it goes. Like when they ask me for that, I can't send them your 22-page document of all of your paperwork. And that's a problem. So that is why we have to separate and break things down. And the same thing goes with listing agreements. People will upload the listing agreement and the data entry together. And then even though it says to upload them separately, and I'll pull up a listing checklist just to refresh everybody's memory. And I know that talking about this right now is annoying to you guys because the people that take the time to get on the calls are not the people who are doing it wrong. But I'm recording this, so we're going to share it with everybody. But here is, I'll just go with cons listing checklist. Everything separated out. So a lot of times people are like, they won't separate out the listing agreement and the listing data input. If we get an audit and they say, send me 4 listing agreements, I can't send them your giant file that has all the paperwork in it together. So it has to be separated out in the components on the checklist. So I thought maybe explaining why that is would be helpful for people to understand why it's not just me nitpicking. I'm not trying to make your life more difficult. I'm trying to be in compliance. And yeah, so you upload it and then you split it into all the separate sections. Just don't leave the one big giant file in the PSA section. And I'm answering Maggie's question in chat. Her question was, is it okay to upload it into the PSA, then split it and assign it? Yes, that is absolutely okay, except also when you do that, just make sure the PSA is just the PSA, because if that's all they ask for, then that's all they want. So that's just like a little heads up on why things have to be separated out in SkySlope. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That is also why it is important to put things where they go in SkySlope, because when we get audited, it will just, you know, they'll ask me for something and I can't go hunt through 100 different files to find it. I have to be able to just click it and send it to them. That is part of the audit process. They want to know that it is readily accessible. Okay, I'm going to stop my shares. I think I've shared everything I wanted to share. Okay, so here is a hot topic that I would like to get people's opinions on. Going back really quick. Okay. Compliance and SkySlope files. If you use a TC, awesome, bully for you. I love that. I think our I was going to say splits. Our fees are so minimal that you have a lot more money to pay for help than you would have had somewhere else. If you were on an 80-20 split and you said, yeah, I don't want to pay a TC, I barely make anything already, I get it. But as of right now, with our $9,000 cap, if you are not able to stay on top of your paperwork, you need to be paying a TC. And we have a few just kind of chronically poor file keepers who we keep encouraging to use a TC, and they won't, and then their files continue to just be out of compliance. I would like feedback from, and again, this is one of those preaching to the choir moments, because everybody who bothers to get on the call tends to be the people who do things right. But I want opinions on having mandatory TC after a certain point of people just not being in compliance, not having clean files, having to be asked repeatedly, and then it not happening. How would you feel if that was you? And then we say after a certain point, you know what? You're going to be required to use a TC. Nothing personal. It's just that I can't keep having to clean your files. I'm just interested in people's feedback on that. Is it ridiculous? Am I being outrageous? I'm not saying we're going to, like, I mean, there's a Realty One group, I can't remember which one, not the one locally, where they have mandatory TC for every agent. You have to use the in-house TC. It's part of the deal. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about having some kind of a mandatory process for people that have just established a pattern of not being able to stay on top of their file. Does that just immediately strike some of you the horribly wrong way? Maggie, jump in. I saw that you, yeah.
Yeah, I would not like it if it was a policy for everybody, but I think after a few warnings, that's pretty fair, because I think if we get audited and we get fined, that could put our brokerage as a whole in jeopardy, could it not?
Oh, yeah,
So-
absolutely. And if we get audited and we get fined, we have gotten audited and had things called out and not gotten a fine because we were still relatively new. And so they're like, in the future, that could be a fine, but right now we're just going to give you a warning. And it's 100% my going forward plan that if we are to get a fine, that fine will be passed on to the agent whose file it is. I'm not going to eat that as a brokerage if I've especially have gone through files and asked you to fix it. But I'm trying to be proactive here. And so this is the only thing I can think of for cleaning up some chronically poor file keeping. And I'm just interested in opinions. If anybody have a better idea, am I being harsh? Is it, as an agent, do you feel like you need to hold on to your independence, even if it includes being not compliant? I mean, just talk to me. Tell me what to do here, people, please.
Shanna, I'm driving, so I can't access my phone to do the little hand raise, but I unmuted. Can I jump in real fast?
Yes, jump in.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I back up Maggie on that, and my opinion is, you know, even though you say you're not the boss, you are the boss. And this is your brokerage. Yes, it's our brokerage too, but for the chronically not compliant, I mean, I agree. I probably wouldn't have liked being told the entire brokerage had to do it, but at the same time, that's not personal. That's, hey, we as a whole are not doing what we should. I'm not picking on the people that do. I'm just saying this is the way it should be. If you said that, I feel like that's totally your right to say that. And I don't, you know, I mean, I want my independence too, but I'm also one of those that uses it TC. Even though I know how to stay compliant, I don't always. So I'm grateful for my TC. And I think for those chronically non-compliant people, that absolutely should be a requirement after, like, maybe, I don't know, 2 major warnings or 3. I feel like, you know, we don't want it to affect all of us. And I also look at our reputation as a brokerage that stays on top of stuff, and you work really hard to make sure that we all do. So I absolutely think it feels totally fair. You know, but again, I don't know how maybe the chronically non-compliant people feel. Maybe there's, I don't have an idea. I don't have an idea, but if there's a way we can support them, you have provided us great tools. I don't know if there's another tool, but maybe it's another tech session if somebody felt like they weren't feeling comfortable enough in SkySlope to stay compliant.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, if you're struggling, ask for help. I sometimes feel like that goes without saying, but I need to not assume. And Angela, you wanted to jump in?
Well, I don't think it's fair for the compliant people to have your energy spent on non-compliant people. It's taking away if the agents who are doing what they're supposed to be doing, if they have a question, and there's going to be a lot of questions with the new form, you need to focus your energy on supporting the people who are doing it right. And yeah, that's my thought.
And I also, oh, Con, go ahead and jump in.
Well, I was gonna say, because not everybody's tech savvy, maybe doing a class. I mean, for me, it's pretty straightforward and it's really easy to follow. But I mean, if we're able to figure out all together how to split those documents, which is really easy, I think that would make it super helpful for everybody.
Okay, good idea.
And,
yeah, we've done some classes before and then nobody shows up, and
Yep.
but we just need to keep putting the offer out there. And I also had the idea of having another tier of TC, like maybe $250. You're actually not getting a TC, but what you get is you don't touch SkySlope. All you do is email your documents. When you get a signed around deal, you email it in and you say, I have a signed around deal, please create a SkySlope file. TC does not reach out to any of your clients, does not get signatures for you, does not monitor timelines, just does your SkySlope upload. So that could be also another option for people that are just not able to stay on top of SkySlope and don't want to take the time to learn. Because I mean, I fully subscribe to the old dog doesn't want to learn any new tricks program. So I do understand some people just are like, I don't even want to try. But then it's that I also don't want to pay a TC. And then that ends up me being their free TC basically. So, all right. Well, I appreciate the feedback on that topic because I don't like telling people what they have to do, because as an independent contractor and an adult business owner, I want everybody to feel they have the autonomy to run their business the way they want to.
I don't feel like it's telling people what they have to do. Like, they get the option to either do it correctly or do it incorrectly, and that's on them. But if you do it incorrectly, there's going to be consequences. It's not you telling them they have to use a TC right now, but like you keep messing up, that becomes your burden, which it shouldn't have to be.
I 100% agree with that, Carly.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for validating me and letting me vent. That is everything that I had for our meeting. So unless anybody has anything, any specific listing issues that you want to run past people, I do have Debbie Russell has a listing that looks good and the price looks good and is just not getting any attention. And so she is asking people for opinions on why do you think it's not moving. So I will, I'm actually just going to throw it into the chat. If anybody has, a free moment to lend a helping hand and wants to just take a look at it and say, hey, I think this could be your problem. So it is in Portland.
Hey, I would love it if everybody would try to come to my Brokers Open today. I will feed you really yummy food and liquor.
Nice.
And non-liquor for those non-alcoholic people. I will have multiple non-alcoholic beverages. And I would just really love some bodies in the door.
Remind us the time while we're on the call, Betsy.
4 to 6. It is in Brush Prairie.
Okay.
It's a beautiful house. Angela's been there. Tabitha's been there. Maggie, I don't think you got to see it yet, Maggie, but it's a personal friend of mine, her house. I've already got her in a house. We've had a couple of showings. I know it's price. I know price is part of it, but I'm really surprised I haven't had more showings than I have. And my seller, she asked me to do the brokers open and is not listening to my advice on price. So I would like to show her that, hey, I got bodies in the door, and 2, here is their input. And if you have input other than price, of course, please share that. But I know right now it's overpriced and she's refusing to listen. And I think that brokers open is going to be the thing that pushes her. So
Okay,
and she's out of town
can't-
right now.
I can't go because I have an NAPMW commitment that I'm going to at that same time frame. But
Okay.
I will look it over again and maybe just give feedback in an email, because I know that getting written
That'd be great.
feedback is really valuable to be able to take to a client and say, hey, here's what we're seeing. It's price. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead, Maggie.
that would be fabulous. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I-
Maggie.
So I watched this podcast. It's called The Real Estate Bestie. And she was saying what to do when your listings are stale. And she said, have a broker's open, but frame it to other agents like, hey, it's a free social media content party. I know sometimes it's hard to
Good
take pictures in nice houses and, you want to post stuff on your social media. Maybe you don't have anything right now. Come to my broker's open. You can take all the pictures and, promotional material you want.
Yeah,
Is
I've seen a couple of
great
people do that
idea.
at luxury. Amy Acevedo did it recently at the multi-million dollar listing she has in Hawksview, which is a great neighborhood. And it was like, bring your film crew, get all of your B-roll of you showing a luxury home, do whatever you want, just get in here. So
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I like that, Maggie. Thank you.
that is a great idea. All right, well, that's it for me. If anybody else has anything that they want to jump in with, a big thank you again to Angela for sponsoring our class yesterday. We had a yummy lunch and it was all about the buyer brokerage service agreement. And I did record it such as it is. I mean, it's just basically the camera was running on the whole room. So the audio is not great, but we did have some good conversation about that form and the fact that it is changed today. So there is a new buyer brokerage agreement form out today. Northwest MLS also updated a couple of their other forms effective today. So if you notice some changes in your Washington forms, pull up the latest Northwest MLS legal bulletin, and they've got a nice little description of everything that has changed effective today. All right, well, that's it. Thank you all very much for logging on, and I'll see you around.